Ramesses II, the greatest pharaoh, ancient Egypt, pharaoh who refused to lose Meru. Before Ramesses II was crowned the greatest pharaoh to ever grace the sands of Egypt, Egypt was broken, gods were abandoned, temples lay in ruins. The throne, a revolving door of generals trying to mop up the spiritual and political mess left by a rebellious sun-worshipping king. It was chaos with eyeliner. But then, one man changed everything. What made Ramesses rise from a soldier's son to a god on earth? How did love for one woman, Queen Nefertari, fuel a legacy written in stone? Why did an army of horn-helmeted pirates end up guarding Egypt's throne room? And what happens when two superpowers clash? Ramesses versus Muwatalli II, in the largest chariot battle history has ever seen. This isn't just ancient history, it's a cinematic journey of drama, deception, passion, tactical brilliance, and one man's transformation into a living legend. So buckle up, history lovers and armchair emperors, because this isn't your average dusty documentary. This is the greatest pharaoh. Let me take you on a whirlwind journey through one of the most dramatic chapters in ancient history, a tale of gods, glory, and a pharaoh who outlived his own legend. Once upon a time, in the 14th century BC, Egypt had a bit of a divine meltdown. Pharaoh Akhenaten, the original monotheistic rebel, decided that the entire pantheon of Egyptian gods was passé. He ditched Amun, sidelined Osiris, and ghosted Ra in favor of a single deity, Aten, the sun disk. Akhenaten built a new capital, Akhetaten, modern-day Amarna, and made it the center of his solar cult. Temples were closed, priests were fired, and statues of gods were smashed like bad pottery. The people? Confused. The priests furious. The empire? Crumbling. This religious revolution, while bold, left Egypt spiritually fractured and politically weakened. Foreign territories slipped away, and internal stability was shaken like a tambourine at a Nile-side rave. Enter Horemheb, a no-nonsense general with a jawline carved by the gods and a resume that screamed, "Fixer." Born a commoner, Horemheb rose through the ranks to become commander-in-chief under Tutankhamun. He was childless, but not clueless. Knowing Egypt needed continuity, he appointed his loyal vizier Ramesses as successor. Horemheb ruled with an iron fist, restoring temples, laws, and order. When he died in 1292 BC, he left behind no heir, but a plan. Ramesses, a seasoned administrator and military man, took the throne and rebranded himself as Ramesses I, meaning established by the strength of Ra. Talk about a glow-up. His reign was short, less than 2 years, but strategic. He laid the foundation for a new dynasty, the 19th dynasty, and passed the torch to his son, Seti I. Seti I was the kind of pharaoh who made enemies nervous just by showing up. He reclaimed northern territories lost during the Amarna chaos, especially in Canaan and Syria. He built temples, fortified borders, and restored Egypt's swagger. He appointed his son Ramesses as prince regent at just 14, gave him a royal household, a personal harem, yes, really, and made him a captain in the army. Seti didn't just raise a prince, he raised a legend. While still a teenager, Ramesses married Nefertari, a woman of grace, intellect, and political savvy. She became his chief queen, and he adored her so much he called her the one for whom the sun shines. Their marriage was a blend of romance and diplomacy, with Nefertari playing a key role in court affairs. Ramesses built her a magnificent tomb in the Valley of the Queens, filled with art that still stuns the world today. In 1279 BC, Seti I died, and Ramesses II took the throne at age 24. He wasn't just ready, he was battle-tested. He had already fought in campaigns alongside his father. He was charismatic, strategic, and had a flair for self-promotion that would make modern influencers blush. In his second year as pharaoh, Ramesses faced a salty threat, the Chariot pirates, sea marauders from Anatolia, Ionia, or Sardinia. These pirates were plundering Egyptian ships and terrorizing coastal towns. Ramesses, ever the tactician, set a trap. He loaded cargo ships with tempting goods and stationed them off the coast. The Chariot took the bait and sailed straight into a naval ambush. Egyptian warships surrounded them, and in one swift maneuver, Ramesses captured the entire pirate crew. Instead of executing the survivors, Ramesses pulled a plot twist worthy of a Netflix drama. He brought the Chariot to Egypt as prisoners. Then, he retrained them and made them his personal bodyguards. These once feared pirates now stood watch over the pharaoh, loyal to the man who bested them. This isn't just another history channel. This is Dark Crown Chronicles, where forgotten voices echo, secrets rise from the shadows, and the dust of centuries is stirred into motion. Every episode is a journey through war, betrayal, ambition, and revolution. And it's not just storytelling, it's story reliving. Subscribe and turn on notifications, and you won't just watch history, you'll feel it. You'll unlock epic narratives that bring legends and lost empires back to life, cinematic visuals that make you see history like never before, intrigue, emotion, and revelations that challenge what you thought you knew. Your next favorite story is already waiting, so join us. Become a keeper of forgotten truths. Welcome to Dark Crown Chronicles, where the past isn't behind us, it's calling. In the 5th year of his reign, Ramesses II set his sights on Kadesh, a strategic city in Syria that had become the ancient equivalent of a tug-of-war rope between Egypt and the Hittite Empire. The man on the other end of that rope? Muwatalli II, the Hittite king with a name that sounds like a sneeze and a reputation for cunning. Son of Ramesses II, Muwatalli inherited a stable kingdom and promptly moved the capital to Tarhuntassa, likely for strategic and religious reasons. He was a master of deception, diplomacy, and battlefield theatrics. Think of him as the Loki to Ramesses' Thor. His army was no joke. Heavily armored infantry, 3-man chariots, and a coalition of 19 allied states. Ramesses wanted to expand Egypt's borders into Syria and relive his father Seti III's earlier triumph. Kadesh was a trade hub and a symbol of dominance. Whoever held it held the bragging rights. Ramesses marched north with 4 divisions, Amun, Re, Ptah, and Set. Muwatalli, meanwhile, hid his forces behind Kadesh and sent Hittite spies disguised as nomads to mislead Ramesses into thinking the enemy was far away. Ramesses set up camp, blissfully unaware that 2,500 Hittite chariots were about to crash his party. His army was scattered, his allies were late, his situation dire. According to Ramesses, and only Ramesses, he single-handedly fought off the Hittites, channeling divine rage and falcon-like fury. Here I stand all alone. But I find that Amun's grace is far better to me than 1,000,000 fighting men. I charged their ranks fighting like a pouncing falcon. I slew them without sparing any. Was it true? Not entirely, but it made for epic temple wall poetry. Ramesses did not capture Kadesh, but he declared victory anyway. Muwatalli kept the city, but failed to crush the Egyptians. So, technically, a draw. 15 years later, Ramesses and Muwatalli's successor, Hattusili III, signed the Egyptian-Hittite peace treaty in 1259 BC. It's the earliest known peace treaty in history, with surviving texts from both sides. It ended centuries of conflict and ushered in a century of peace, until the Hittite Empire collapsed in 1178 BC. Shortly after Kadesh, Ramesses faced a Nubian rebellion. His response? A dramatic solo charge into battle, immortalized at Beit el-Wali Temple, where he's shown smiting rebels like a divine wrecking ball. Ramesses didn't just want to be remembered, he wanted to be unforgettable. He built more temples than any pharaoh before him. Quantity equals prosperity. He usurped older statues, carving his name deeper than usual to prevent future edits. The Great Temple took 20 years to build, with 4 colossal statues of Ramesses wearing the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt, symbolizing his rule over all Egypt. One statue was damaged by an earthquake in 27 BC, and its shattered pieces still lie at its feet. The small temple, dedicated to Queen Nefertari and Hathor. Her statues are equal in size to Ramesses, a rare honor in Egyptian art. A red granite statue at the Temple of Ptah was broken into 6 pieces, later restored with iron bars. The Ramesseum, his mortuary temple, was built to preserve his memory as a living god, but suffered flood damage over the centuries. He founded a new capital, Ramesses, which grew to over 300,000 people before being abandoned due to the Nile's shifting branches. Ramesses honored his beloved queen with a lavishly decorated tomb in the Valley of the Queens. Its wall paintings are considered masterpieces of ancient Egyptian art. At age 54, Ramesses celebrated his first Sed festival, a ritual to rejuvenate the pharaoh's strength. He went on to celebrate 14 Sed festivals, more than any other ruler. Ramesses lived to 90 years old, suffering from arthritis, dental decay, and hardened arteries. After 66 years on the throne, he died in 1213 BC and was buried in the Valley of the Kings. His son Merneptah, then 70, took the throne, having outlived all 12 of his older brothers. Ramesses' mummy was discovered in 1881 and is now displayed at the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Cairo. Through war, peace, architecture, and sheer longevity, Ramesses the Great etched his name into history, literally. His monuments still stand, his stories still echo, and his mummy still stares at tourists with regal indifference. Coming up next, Xerxes' First Persian Wars, history's most audacious empire builder, steps onto the world stage, armed with ambition, armies, and the weight of destiny. From the thunder of warships to the fire of rebellion, discover how one man's dreams reshaped nations. Miss this, and you'll miss the moment a god-king meets his reckoning. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every epic deserves an audience, and this one starts now.